So, dear students, in the first part of the Indus Valley civilization, we have seen that how the civilization was discovered, why the civilization was named so, and what were the prominent features. So, now let's continue with the remaining features of the civilization. So, let's do that. So, religious practices. So, now let us understand what were the religious beliefs and practices of the people living in that civilization. So the chief female deity was the mother goddess or the nature earth, mother nature or goddess of earth. And how do we know that? Because many terracotta figurines have been found where people have been seen worshipping somebody who resembles mother goddess. So this is mother goddess. You can see mother goddess. So she was the chief deity. The chief male deity was the Pashupati Mahadeva or the Proto Shiva. So represented in seals sitting in a yogic posture. So this is today Hindus worship Lord Shiva. So this is Proto Shiva, the earliest form of worship of Lord Shiva, Proto Shiva. So chief male deity, chief female deity, mother goddess. And what is the identification of Proto Shiva? That he is sitting in a yogi posture surrounded by animals. So Indus Valley people also worshipped gods in the form of trees. So they also worshipped forces of nature such as trees like people. So this question have been asked, that which tree was worshipped by the people of Indus Valley civilization? So the options were like mango, banana, coconut and all that, neem. But the correct answer is people. They used to worship the peepal tree and animals like pigeon and bull. So you can see there is a seal where you can see that this is being worshipped. Peepal tree is being worshipped. So these are the forces of nature that the people living in Indus Valley civilization used to worship. So Indus Valley people also believed in evil forces and ghosts. How can we say so? Because many amulets as protection against them have been found. Amulets means if you talk in Hindi, it is known as tabiz, or you wear some kind of insignia or something made of metal, something made of stones, which you believe will keep evil spirits and ghosts away from you. So same kind of ornaments have been found from these locations, and also seals and many figurines have been also discovered in which people are seen wearing those. Now what was the contact with outside world? As I already told you that Indus Valley civilization was not the only civilization to have existed in that period of time. There were other civilizations as well, namely Egyptian and Mesopotamian. So Indus Valley people had contacts with West Asia and Central Asia. So what is West Asia? So West Asia is basically, if you talk in today's terms, so countries like Iraq, Syria, then Israel, Palestine, those countries, Kuwait, and Central Asia. So Central Asia like Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, as of today's according to today's geography. So our ancestors, that means people living in Indus Valley civilization, had managed to establish contact with these people. So how do we know that? Because seals and figurines made by Indus Valley people have been found from those locations. So this is how historians decode the story. Sometimes it might occur to you that how can historians make such a beautiful story? Are they making from their own? No, nothing is made up. So objects prepared or developed or made in Indus Valley have been found in foreign land, in other countries. So that indicates that people used to go from this country to that one. The drainage system The much talked about drainage system of the Indus Valley civilization resembles the drainage system used by Iraqi people of that time. So there is a city, Tel Asmar. So it is an ancient city. It was contemporary to Indus Valley people. So the drainage system in these both places are identical. So it establishes the fact that people of Indus Valley civilization must have visited this and seen, or people from Iraq must have come to Indus Valley civilization and they have copied. So one civilization has copied it from the other one. We don't know who copied from whom, but this at least establishes that they were in touch with each other. Now seals also have been found. Now one of the most important seal that you must remember, so seal prepared by Sumerian civilization. So Sumerian, basically Iraq. So Sumerians used to worship god Gilgamesh. So that seal have been found from Mohenjo-daro. So it means that people from Sumeria must used to come to Mohenjo-daro. So it clearly establishes that they were visiting each other. Now cotton, please remember, this is a very important fact, that cotton was grown for the first time in Indus Valley civilization period. So cotton in the entire planet, in the entire human history, cotton is said to be grown for the first time in Indus Valley civilization. Please remember which of the following item was grown for the first time by the people of Indus Valley civilization. Then they will give you 4 options. Cotton will be the correct answer. Now the foreign site where Indus Valley cotton clothes have been discovered is Sumeria, Iraq. Lothal. So there is a site in Gujarat known as Lothal. It is located on the coast of Arabian. So suppose this is Gujarat. So Lothal is located somewhere here, just near the sea. So it is on coast. So Lothal in Gujarat and Sutka Gendor located on Makran coast. So Makran coast, that means coastline of Pakistan. So here is Sukta Gendor and here is Lothal. So these two towns were located, and this is Arabian Ocean. Located on Makran coast of Pakistan, were used as ports or trading posts supporting the sea trade with the Persian Gulf. So from here ships were filled with goods and sent to Persian Gulf. That means countries such as Iraq, Kuwait, Yemen, Syria. What were the major economic activities? So the Indus Valley civilization was probably ruled by merchant class. How can we say so? Because no evidence have been found which says that kings or queens were present. Evidence have been found to suggest that priests were respected. Priest class belonged to the higher society. But if the planning was there, if the towns were made in centralized order, if somebody was ordering seals to be made throughout, then there must be a central authority. So there has to be a central authority. It will either be a king, it will either be religious people or merchant people. So evidence of king is not found. Not much evidence about the priests have been found, but evidence of merchants and trade have been discovered. So it is widely believed that merchants were the ruling class. So as I already told you that Indus were the first to grow cotton. So this cotton formed the major chunk of export. So cotton was exported to other countries, and this brought money and reputation for the people of Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization people were known for producing cotton. Now lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli was a blue colored stone, so which was another major item of export. So as I already told you that Sortugai is a site in Afghanistan. So it is famous because of this fact that a big lapis lazuli factory have been found there. That means there is a particular type of stone, blue colored stone, which was in much demand in that time period. For example, today people use stones like emerald, ruby, topaz to create ornaments. So in those times, this particular stone, lapis lazuli, was in much demand, and this lapis lazuli was excavated in Sortugai. So this Sortugai was also part of Indus Valley civilization only. So stones were excavated from here and then exported to the rest of the known world. Ivory product was also extensively exported. So what is ivory? So teeth of the elephant. Bead making factory has been discovered at Chanhu Dado in Pakistan. You must remember these kind of small facts, because whatever fact that you see included in this video, you know, either I will tell you that don't remember this, or I will tell you that please remember this carefully, because all these facts have been collected carefully based on the previous year questions that were asked. So we have thought on not missing out on any facts. That's why we have already seen the questions asked from previous 15 years, and then we have developed the video accordingly. So don't think that why should I remember this. You should remember this because these questions have already been asked in previous years. So bead making factory, bead, moti, ornaments. So bead making factory has been discovered at Chanhu Dado in Pakistan. So these were some of the economic activities that people of that time used to indulge into. So now let's see. Now what was the agriculture practices of the people belonging to the civilization? The Harappan villages mostly situated near the flood plains. As I already told you that these people have settled in or around rivers, river beds. So they had ample amount of water to carry on their agricultural activities, and hence they used to produce sufficient food grains. So there was sufficient cultivation of food grains, and often granaries were built to store extra produce. That means they used to produce more than they can consume, and hence they used to build granaries so where they can store the extra grains. Wheat and barley were the most important crops. These have been asked many a times. Rice is not the correct answer. Wheat and barley. So cultivation of lentil, mustard, linseed, sesame have also been found. Not that important to remember. Millets are also found from sites of Gujarat. Now cultivation of rice was rare. Today a large population of India eat rice two times a day. But in those days, at least in Indus Valley civilization, rice was not that popular. It was not grown extensively. So evidence of cultivating rice was found in Lothal. The only other Indus site where rice husk, that means paddy or the cover of rice grains, have been found in Rangpur near Ahmedabad. So both Lothal and Rangpur are in Gujarat. So you can remember like this, that only the Gujaratis of those times used to eat rice. So how will you remember? So rice was found or cultivated only at two places, Rangpur and Lothal, both in Gujarat. The Indus people were the earliest people to produce cotton, I already told you. Now, which animals were known to these peoples? Which animals were reared? So animals played a big role in Indus Valley civilization. It is but obvious, because animals are needed for agricultural, animals are needed to produce milk. The humped bull was a domesticated animal. Buffalo, pigs, elephant, donkey, goats and sheep were also domesticated. How do we know that these were domesticated? Because on seals they have been depicted many a times. They also domesticated dogs, cats, buffaloes, pigeon, camel, and so forth, and elephants also. Please remember, elephants were also domesticated. Donkeys were also domesticated. Surkotada in Gujarat is the only place from where evidence of horses have been found. Surkotada is the site of Indus Valley located in Gujarat. So from there evidence of horses have been found. What kind of evidences? So bones of horses and burnt ashes have been found. Very, very, very important. Surkotada is the only place. It has been asked many times. That's why I wrote here very, very, very important. So remains of rhinoceros have been also found. So don't think that rhinoceros, how can rhinoceros be found in Indus Valley civilization? But remains of rhinoceros have actually been found from Amri in Sindh, Pakistan. Now, which metals were used by these people? The metal which made the earliest appearance during the Indus Valley civilization was silver. That means the first metal to be used by these people was silver. Gold, copper, silver, bronze metals were known to Indus Valley civilization, but not iron. Now please remember this fact. You need not remember that which metals were known to them, but at least you must remember that this fact, because this has been asked many a time, that iron was not known to them. Iron was not known to them, and silver was the first metal that they started using. So the various mineral metals used by Indus Valley people and their sources are, because these people used metal and they used to import from other places. Indus Valley civilization, they did not have metals, they did not produce metals, but rather they imported it from somewhere else. So you can see, you need not remember all this. Silver was imported from Afghanistan and Iran, Iraq. Lead was imported from Kashmir, Rajasthan. Gold from Karnataka. Today also you can find gold mines in Karnataka. Copper was imported from Rajasthan. Today also you can see these mines. Copper mine, Khetri in Rajasthan. So that time also these mines must have been operational. So lapis lazuli from Afghanistan. This you must remember. Lapis lazuli, Sortugai in Afghanistan. Sortugai. Now standard weight and measurement. So as you can see, weighing stone and measuring scales of standard weight and length have been found from different sites throughout the civilization. That means throughout the length and breadth of the civilization, people used to use the standard weight. For example, we Indians, if I am in Delhi or I am in Chennai, I will use the same weight. 1 kg means the same to me. Same was the case with these people. These people have developed standard weights. So stone weights, seals, special beads, copper tools, long stone blades were commonly used. So you can see these stones had a particular weight. So they were used as standard weights. So they were made and cut out from stones or copper, made of copper. Now this fact you have to remember. The system of weighing stone was based on multiples of 16. Multiples of 16. So different weights, this may be of 16 grams, this multiple of 16, 32 grams, 64 grams, 160 grams and so on. So this you must remember, that the weights that they were using, they were basically in multiples of 16. So today the weights that we use, at least in India, they are multiples of 10, 100, 1000 gram, 1 kg, 100 grams, 10 grams. So that time they used to use weights which were multiples of 16. And what were these weights made of? They were made of limestone, steatite. So these are basically stones. So they were made of either stones or metals such as copper. So this you have to remember, that the measure of length was based upon a foot of 13.2 inches. Today in modern world, 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, but that time whatever they used to use as a foot, so if measured today, it comes out to be 13.2 inches. And there was another unit of length known as cubit. So it was equivalent to 20.6 inches. This you need not remember, but this has been asked. 13.2 inches was the standard measure of length. Now what were their burial practices? That means how did they bury their dead ones? So cemeteries were generally built outside the boundaries of the cities, so just outside the limits of the cities. Body was generally buried in north-south orientation, as you can see here, north-south, north-south. So body was buried in this way. So whatever in a crematory or a graveyard was built, all the bodies were buried following these rules. So in some cases the grave was covered with bricks. So you can see, so grave was covered with bricks. So entire cemetery of Kalibangan is brick covered. So this is actually from Kalibangan only. So entire cemetery was covered with brick. So you need not remember all this. In Lothal, this is very important. In Lothal, Gujarat, many graves have been found that have a pair of male and female buried together. You can see here. So one male and one female, they are buried together. Probably they are married to each other. That's why they are buried together. So this has been found in Lothal, Gujarat. So Gujaratis used to eat rice. So they used to do everything differently, which people from the same civilization from other location did not used to do. So in Surkotada, again Gujarat, pot burial was practiced. So this is pot burial. That means when a person used to die, he was first burnt. His bones and ashes were collected in a pot and then buried. So this was done in Surkotada. So this you can see, this is the pot found from Surkotada cemetery. So human ashes were put in this pot and then buried. Now let us see the important Indus Valley cities. Out of 1400 cities, as you have seen in the last video, so almost 1400 cities have been discovered so far, but all 1400 cities are not that important. So the important ones are divided into three groups. So first group is a group of nucleus cities. So you must remember these are the large cities where large population used to reside. So Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan and Dholavira. So these were known as nucleus cities. That means large scale cities. Then there were coastal towns. So these two are the most prominent coastal towns, Lothal and Sukta Gendor. So these two were major ports because they are located on coast. Other cities and townships. So Surkotada, Banwali, Chanudaro and Kot Diji. So now what we will do, we will see what major things or what important things have been found from excavations from these sites. So let's see. So now let's see, before we proceed to see what are the major finds from each location. So let's also spend some time to understand the arts and artifacts developed by these peoples. So Indus Valley people practiced art by making pottery, jewelry, terracotta figures, bronze statues and seals. So what are the major art objects or major artifacts found, which you need to remember, of course. So we will list only the most prominent ones which you have to mandatorily remember. So statue of a male torso made of red sandstone is the only major artifact found from Harappa. That means not many art forms have been found from Harappa. So the major art forms have been basically found from Mohenjo-daro, not from Harappa. The only worthy to be mentioned find from Harappa is male torso made of red sandstone. Now major art forms found from Mohenjo-daro are statue of bearded men, which is made of steelite. So you need not remember what it is made of, but you have to basically remember what was found where. So it becomes very easy. From Harappa only one thing was found, that is male torso made of red sandstone. From Mohenjo-daro, many important art objects have been found. So these are statue of bearded men, as you can see here, mother goddess statue, statue of dancing girl, and statue of bull. So these are the major art forms found all in Mohenjo-daro. All these four have been found from Mohenjo-daro, whereas from Harappa only one single noteworthy object have been found, that is male torso. That means half statue of lower half of the male. Now let's see what important things have been found from other locations. So from Harappa is located on the bank of river Ravi. You have to remember this. So 2 rows of 6 granaries have been found. So these were the nearest building to the river. So granaries have been found to be built on the banks of river Ravi. So red sandstone male torso is the major art form. You remember this. This has been asked many times. From where the red sandstone male torso have been found? So it has been found from Harappa. So these two you need not remember, but just if you can remember, well and good. So oxen driven carts were found at Harappa, and the cemetery R37 containing 57 burial is also located in Harappa. Now Mohenjo-daro. Mohenjo-daro is the largest site of the civilization. Largest. So what is the meaning of Mohenjo-daro? It means mound of the dead. So a mound where the dead have been buried. As you can see, there was a citadel in Mohenjo-daro, and then there was a lower city. So in this citadel, cemetery have been found. Dead people were buried here. So that's why it is known Mohenjo-daro. The city was destroyed and built 7 times. So because of flooding, it was situated on the banks of river. So it used to flood again and again. So that's why it was on the banks of the river Indus. So it used to flood again and again, and hence it was built 7 times. So what are the important findings? We have already seen dancing girl statue, bearded priest statue, mother goddess statue, and largest number of seals have been found from this site. That means out of all the seals that have been found, almost half, almost 55% seals were found from Mohenjo-daro alone. So that shows that this city was the most prominent city. Kalibangan. So Kalibangan is located on the banks of river Ghaggar in Rajasthan. So the word Kalibangan means black bangles. Kali means kala, bangan means bangles. So what have been found here? Fire altars have been found here. That means religious practice, fire altars. A cylindrical seal, this you must remember. This is the only place from where cylindrical seal have been found. What is a cylindrical seal? Seal in form of a cylinder, something like this, and images are drawn here and on the upper and lower surfaces. So cylindrical seal have been found from Kalibangan. These two you need not remember, but this is worthy to be remembered. Plugged field was found at Kalibangan. That means plugged field. That means they must be practicing agriculture by ploughing the field. So also a house floor containing the designs of intersecting circles were found at Kalibangan. How can you remember that? Bangles are circular in shape. So Kalibangan means bangles. So you can remember that this bangle shaped circular intersecting circle. So it was like that floor design of the floor. Next site is Dholavira. So Dholavira is the largest Indus Valley site in India. Actually Mohenjo-daro is the largest site, but Mohenjo-daro is not in India. So when we talk about India, Dholavira is the largest site. And where is Dholavira situated? So Dholavira is situated in Gujarat. So the world's first signboard have been discovered here. So world's first signboard. So there used to be a signboard on the entry gate of the city. So It was supposed to be the first signboard of the world. So that has been discovered here. So it is the only site where guard rooms were provided at the gates at Dholavira. So at the entry gate, there were rooms made for guards. So it was well protected. So Dholavira is the only site where the city has been divided into 3 parts instead of 2. So as you have seen in the last video that in case of town planning, usually the Indus Valley cities were divided into 2 parts. One was citadel and the other was where ordinary people used to live. But in case of Dholavira, the city has been divided into 3 parts. Citadel, normal citizens or city, and the third part was reserved for reservoir, gardens and all that stuff. So 3 parts were there. Lothal. So now Lothal is located in Gujarat and it was located on the banks of the river Bhagawa, which is also known as Bhogavo. Different pronunciations. Bhogavo. Somewhere Bhagava is mentioned, somewhere Bhogavo will be mentioned, but pronunciation is just a matter of pronunciation. So what is most important thing about Lothal is why it is so famous is that the only Indus site with an artificial dockyard, because it is a coastal town. It was located on the coast of Arabian Ocean. So here is Lothal, here is Arabian Ocean. From here ships used to go to foreign lands. So dockyard has been found from Lothal. This is the most information about Lothal. Very, 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 very important question. So Lothal is known as Manchester of Harappan civilization. Why Manchester? Because it was used for cotton trade. As I already told you that ships used to go from here. So these ships used to carry cotton. So because of that, because Manchester in United Kingdom is a major, cloth producing. So clothes are produced in Manchester as of today. So Harappa is given the name of Manchester of Indus Valley to symbolize the export of cotton. Also interesting thing is that terracotta figurines of Egyptian mummies have been found here. Why here? Because foreign people used to come to Lothal in great numbers because it was the trading point. They cannot go directly to Alamgirpur, Daimabad, Manda. They have to enter through coast. So Lothal was one of the most visited sites. That's why foreign made objects are found there. Banwali. So Banwali is located in Hisar district of Haryana on Ghaggar river. So Kalibangan is also located on the banks of Ghaggar river, but Kalibangan is in Rajasthan, whereas Banwali is in Haryana. So a huge palace-like building have been found at Banwali, and also deluxe pottery was found at Banwali. So palace and deluxe pottery symbolizes that rich people living at Banwali were very rich and prosperous because they used to build palaces. Palace, please remember, not ordinary house but palace, almost a 3-storied palace, and deluxe pottery has been discovered here. Now last one, Chanudaro. So Chanudaro, the township of Chanudaro was situated in Pakistan, means is situated in Pakistan. So why it is famous? What do you need to remember about this? That it was an important seal making center and an important bead making center. So seals and beads were made here in industrial proportion, like an industry, like a factory being run. Also pottery, ink pot and writing tablets were found at Chanudaro. So these 3 major activities is what Chanudaro is famous for. And another fact, you need not remember this, but it is the only Indus city without a citadel. You know why? Why there is no citadel? Because it was a out and out industrial town. So if it is an industrial town, people used to go there, work. So there was only working class. There was no ruling class, so no citadel is needed. So you can remember this way that Chanu Daro was like a modern day factory, industrial town, proper industrial town of that era. So now, as every good thing comes to an end, so did Indus Valley civilization. It came to an end. So as we have seen in previous video, Indus Valley civilization has been divided into three phases: early, mature, and declining. So early phase, mature phase, and declining phase. So declining phase started around 1700 BC, and the civilization was completely gone, completely disappeared from the face of the earth by 1500 BC. So what were the possible reasons? So no concrete reason can be pinpointed. Historians can only guess unless they have a real proof. So historians have made some guesses as to what could have caused the decline of the civilization. So some of the prominent reasons given by them is that the region was prone to flood, as is evident in case of Mohenjo-daro, that Mohenjo-daro was flooded again and again. So historians believe that large scale flooding might have brought the civilization to an end. The another possibility is that large scale earthquake might have caused people to run away from this region. Large scale, they might be scared that again and again very frequent earthquakes, so they left this region to settle in some other parts. The other reason given is change of course of Indus. So in earlier days, Indus river was changing its course. So people used to use the water of Indus. So if my house is here and suddenly Indus starts flowing from, it changes its course, then I will have also to shift now, because I don't have any other source of water. So change of course of Indus might be one of the reason. The other reason given by archaeologists is plague. Plague, that means a large scale plague wiped out the majority of population. The most commonly accepted, or you can say most commonly debated reason is Aryan migration. So some historians believe that people from Central Asia and boundary of Europe, so they migrated and forced the people. So they migrated, that means they came from Central Asia and Europe. So they entered India through Indus Valley. So while entering, they fought with these people, indigenous Indus Valley people, and they forced them to move out from the area. They either defeated them and entirely killed them, or forced them to settle out. But it is highly debated. It is highly debated because of its controversial nature. So these are some of the reasons given by the historians for the decline of the civilization. So that was all that you need to know about the Indus Valley civilization. So I would insist that you must watch this video at least a couple of times, and please be very careful. So whatever is to be remembered, I have very clearly stated which facts are to be remembered, which facts are to be avoided. So kindly do accordingly for best results.